Well, hey there, guys. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Superman Reaction Watch. That's right. The social media embargo for the social media reactions, the quick reactions, lifts in about 22 minutes. And we are here to follow those reactions as they come out. And I'm going to ask all of you guys who are here already, if you guys see a legitimate reaction come out on social media, on Twitter or on Threads or whatever, do me a favor, because we're all in this together tonight for Reaction Watch. We're all in it together tonight. So if you see a legitimate social media reaction come out, go ahead and email me the link to it at john@thejohncampeashow.com. That's john@thejohncampeashow.com. Send that on into me if and when you guys see that, and we'll be good to go. I've already got a couple of reactions that have come in, by the way. So pretty stoked about tonight. Guys, I cannot believe it. Superman is finally here. It's finally here. I just can't believe it. And there are a couple of reactions that are already out. They should not be out, but a couple of places broke embargo and put them out already. By the way, Nicholas just sent me one here. And Nicholas says, what does Nicholas say? They sent us a social media post by Comics and Superheroes Related. It said, I saw it, loved it. Can't say any more other than if you're a Superman fan. And I mean, if you love Superman all seasons, Peace on Earth, All-Star Superman, and Action Comics number 775, this is the movie for you. James Gunn understood the assignment. So that's the first one in. But a couple of the bigger trades and magazines and news outlets have actually already put out their social media, their reaction to it. And we're going to start off with this one. This one's from GQ, like the magazine GQ put this out. It said, let me just read what they wrote there. The result is one of the most distinct superhero films in a long time, with a tone that feels honest and true to the spirit of Superman, and therefore at odds with pretty much everything else within the genre right now. Gunn's approach is colorful in both its palette and its costumes, proudly fantastical with flying orbs, robots, portals, and giant monsters, and at times endearingly and intentionally corny. See Crypto the Superdog. But late in the third act, Superman delivers an impassioned monologue about himself that essentially states Gunn's thesis about the character and his core values. You won't find any controversial neck snapping here. So again, GQ. This is no gas station movie reviews .fart or John Campea Show or whatever. This is GQ. Again, writing, the result is one of the most distinct superhero films in a long time, with a tone that feels honest and true to the spirit of Superman. That's pretty good. Another one that came in is from the Sunday Times. And it says, the Sunday Times breaks embargo and offers a positive Superman review. They said this: Superman, directed by James Gunn, is a triumph. After a long wait, this is the film the character deserves. In 1978, Richard Donner made us believe a man could fly when he picked Christopher Reeve as Kal-El, the Kryptonian who falls to Earth to become Clark Kent. And despite a superb sequel, the franchise has since been a reboot slog of diminishing returns. Brandon Routh is forgotten. I like Brandon Routh as Superman. Henry Cavill is boring. You shut your dirty whore mouth. Henry Cavill's the effing man. Anyway, nobody seemed to know what to do with Superman until now. No one seemed to know what to do with Superman until now. Which is pretty great. Again, if you guys are joining us here tonight and you're just jumping in and joining us now, the review embargo for Superman officially lifts in 17 minutes, at least the quick social media review embargo. Tomorrow, the full review embargo lifts, and we're going to be talking about that on the John Campea Show tomorrow. But tonight, we're kind of here doing Reaction Watch on this. So listen, we got some more people sending in stuff. Some people are sending, guys, don't bother sending me YouTube clips because I'm not going to watch YouTube clips. Just send in like social media posts, stuff like that. What do we got here? We got one. Now, these are people who are breaking review embargo. Let's see what this says. One comes to us from the verified account of Eric Waffles, who writes, Superman, first impressions, and absolutely in love with the characterizations crafted for the DCU. They're the most accurate versions of the characters in the live action to date, and the chemistry is insanely good. Rachel and David and Nicholas are worthy of playing the characters for years to come. My only growth area is some transitions between scenes in the first half could have flowed together a little smoother, but felt a bit disjointed in the end. Overall, a really fun and entertaining movie. And my theater had people of all ages enjoying it. I'm seeing it again tomorrow. Me too. So I'll have my final opinions then. So that's another good one that's come in. Let's see if there's more here. One comes to us from Sean. Let's see. Oh, Sean is just quoting, the folks over Real Talk. Real Talk is just quoting the one we already got, from Eric Waffle, saying overall fun, really entertaining movie, which is good. Let's see. We got another one here. Let's see if this is just the same one. Let's see here. Brian Long Films wrote, and this comes to us from Not So Family Fun Vision, writes, James Gunn, you did it. You made me look up, and the gun did not jam. That's actually that's clever. The gun did not jam. This felt like a comic leaping off the silver screen. Not sure how people doubted this for a second. Nicholas Holt's Lex is terrifying, yet so animated. Wow. All right. Now, guys, I just want to be clear here. I am not filtering these reactions. By the way, once again, if you see a social media reaction on Twitter or Threads or Instagram, whatever, email me the link because we're all in this together tonight for Reaction Watch. Email it to me at john@thejohncampeashow.com. That's where these are coming in. I want to let you know, I am not filtering these. I'm just pulling these up, taking a look at them with you, and let's see what they have to say. Now, we've got another one here. This one is from MJ, who writes, this is everything any Superman could ask for. Dumb, stupid grin on my face the entire time. David Cornsweet not only makes you believe he's Superman, but devours as Clark Kent. And Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor. Dude makes Kendrick Lamar look merciful. Dude makes Kendrick Lamar look merciful. And that was sent to us by Dexter. Dexter sent us another one here, if I can pull this one up. Again, these are just now starting to come in, guys. These are the first reactions to Superman. All right. This one from Jeremy Kaziva, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, wrote, James Gunn absolutely nailed it with Superman. From the music and effects to the camera work and humor, he crafted the ideal, lighthearted, kid-friendly family film for the summer. Every character had standout moments, especially Crypto. Aw, that's nice to hear. I'm glad to hear Crypto's getting some love in there. All right. Let's keep things going here. More are coming in. Now, some of these might be repeats that other people have seen already. Again, somebody just sent me a video. I can't bring up the videos on here, unfortunately, so I'm not going to be doing that. Again, guys, just send it if it's text reactions that you see either on Twitter or Threads or whatever. And I am having computer problems right now. I'm having real computer problems right now. Give me a second. Yeah, I lost my mouse, guys. My mouse just all of a sudden stopped working. Let me see if I can do something about that and get it going here. Because, yeah, my mouse just all of a sudden decided to stop working. And this is going to be a really hard video to do if I cannot get my mouse to work. Hold on a second. Let me try this. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'll try it. I'm going to see if I can plug it in here. And maybe I'll be able to a little bit. Yeah, I'm able to a little bit. Okay. Let's keep things going here. Let me see if there's more. Let's see. Let's try bringing this up. again, I'm having problems here. Sorry, guys, for the inconvenience here. All right. Real Talk Live is quoting somebody else again, saying Superman is everything that Adam St. Albin wanted and more. He praises Superman as an epic punk rock film that redefines Superman. And it says, let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit to get a better idea about what it says here. Superman is a soaring triumph. This superhero epic wastes no time diving into action in a meta-human world. Corn Sweat's Superman is punk rock, and Nicholas's Lex is his electric opposite. Gunn's vibrant palette dazzles with orbs, robots, and monsters, which we heard that a little bit earlier. Engineer and Ultraman shine. Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Guy steal scenes. This movie redefines Superman. Catch it in IMAX or the biggest screen possible. Okay, so that's another good one. Let's see if we pull up another one here. Let's see. A more lukewarm one comes to us from Hummus. I can't get it on the screen right now, but it says, although the pacing is a bit messy, I still think Superman did its job bringing these characters to life and finally capturing what makes Superman special. Oh, actually, that was pretty good nonetheless. Let's see here. This one comes to us. Shimo wrote, I'm just going to say it. It's a masterpiece. All right. Just going to say it. It's a masterpiece. We'll see when we get to see it here. This one comes to us from Y, who wrote, Superman initial thoughts, no spoilers. Pros. First, literally the whole cast is phenomenal. Top tier performances from everyone involved. Clark and Lois have insane chemistry. The Daily Planet had some of the funniest bits ever. I'm genuinely grateful for the inclusion of Beck. The Justice Gang were all good and had their moments when it came to showcasing some of their nuances. Nicholas Hoult gave us one of the best hater performances ever. You feel his hatred and anger throughout his voice. The score is insane. As someone who had doubts about David Murphy, he genuinely shut me up and provided some of the best music I've ever heard in film ever, really. The direction of James Gunn's camera movement then provides some of the most visceral moments in the cape shit medium like this, or like his use of quick pans and eerily similar to Raimi. Cons. CGI looked a bit jarring in some quick flashes. Also, felt the movie was a little too short, which can be felt in its ending. Overall, this movie has genuine meta-social commentary and is going to expose a lot of human perspectives and how certain people feel on certain political topics. And it's going to be very interesting to see because I don't recall the last time a comic book movie has taken such a huge swing in its political scape. I loved it. I love the fact that someone got the balls to do such, and thank God James Gunn actually did so. It's a movie with heart, passion, and genuinely good time, bro. Also, stay for the credits. They told us there was only one, but apparently right after the end, they added another one. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. Good to hear. All right. Sorry, guys, we got a lot coming in here. Let's see. Where are we at? We're at, I can't bring this one up on screen just because the way it's sent in, but it said from DC Studios Central, 2.5 hours of pure fun. All I can say is that the trailer conspiracies are lies. It's an eerily different cinematic universe. You have to watch 1978 Superman all the way to Superman 4 before you watch this movie. If you are a Christopher Reeve nerd, then this movie is for you. A huge shout out to the VFX studio for making such great visuals, which is funny because I heard some of the reactions or some of the visuals weren't all that great, but that's fine. Let's see. Got another one here. Let's see if I can get it on screen. Okay. Austin Menderios writes, this is everything any Superman fan could ask for. Dumb, stupid grin on my face. Oh, this is one I read a little bit earlier. So that one got sent in already. Let me see. Again, I don't have a chance to go through all these. LA3 wrote, so good. It's Guardians of the Galaxy plus anime plus Superman. Are there flaws? Yes. Slight pacing issues. Some CGI was blah. But that final fight scene, Matrix 2 inspired, and mid-fight scenes are so worth the price of admission. Easy recommend. There is a slightly crude moment with Green Lantern powers. Yeah, we all knew that was going to be coming. We all knew that was going to be coming. But there you have it. Let's see. Somebody's saying in the live chat, read the bad reviews. Listen, I'm not sorting these. I'm literally just opening them up as they come. I'm not picking which ones to read. I'm literally just opening them as they come. There just hasn't been a bad one on this list yet. I'm sure there will be. Like, so I personally know somebody who really didn't like the film. I made a whole video about it last week. Anyway, let's see if there's more here. There's another one here. I don't know if I can get it on the screen, though. Let me see if I can. I don't think I can. No, okay. This one came to us from David, who wrote, Superman is a soaring triumph. This superhero epic wastes no time diving into action in a metahuman world. Corn Sweat Superman is punk rock. Oh, that's one we've already heard. We've already heard that one, so we can skip over that one. Okay, for example, here's a negative. Again, I can't get this on the screen, though. I don't know why. Oh, yes, I can. I might be able to get this on screen. Okay. This one comes to us from, you know what? I doubt the legitimacy of this. I don't think this Dio person actually... Oh, this is not who I was thinking it was. Never mind. I take that back. Anyway, Dio writes, Superman is not a great movie. It's not even good. It's one of the best movies of all time. It will leave you... That's not where I thought this was going. I doubt it's one of the best movies of all time. But anyway... It's one of the best movies of all time. It will leave you breathless. Seeing it in IMAX is a must. I had tears rolling down my leg. That's funny. Had tears rolling down my leg. All right, let's keep this going here, shall we? Again, sorry guys, I'm having issues with my mouse for some reason, which is making doing the stream a little challenging, but we will keep soldiering on. All right, let's see if there's another one here. And let me just double check now to see. Okay, this one we've already seen, so I don't need to repeat that one. It's one of the good ones. This one is also one we've already seen. So I guess now, by the way, the social media embargo hasn't even lifted yet. So these are all people who are breaking embargo by a few minutes still. You shouldn't be doing that, guys. Let's see. This one is from Variant Official. And what did they write? They wrote, let me see if I can get this a little bigger on the screen here. Variant Official, we just left an early screening of Superman. Thanks to IMAX, and James Gunn pulled it off. This movie is absolutely amazing and captures the heart of Superman perfectly. If you haven't already, do yourself a favor and grab tickets to see it this weekend. You won't be disappointed. So, all right. Another pretty damn good one. That to us, again, coming from Variant, has sent that in. Again, guys, my apologies about the fact that my mouse is acting really weird, so I'm having a hard time navigating my machine here. Sorry, again, my mouse is acting up. There we go. Okay. Another one here. Let me see if I can get this one on the screen. Okay, so this is one from Threads. Secret Jenny writes, I've seen it. James Gunn got it right. It's back to the classic, honest to goodness superhero story, a super perfect 10. All right. Now, again, I need to reemphasize to everybody, I am not screening these. I am literally just reading these as they're coming in. As they're coming in, I'm opening them and I'm reading them. I'm not screening these. Somebody was asking me, why aren't you reading the bad reviews? No one sent me in a bad. If you've got a legitimate bad review from somebody who's legitimately seen the movie and is a legitimate online presence, go ahead and send it in. Like I said, I've got a very good friend of mine who saw it and hated it. She hated it. And again, I made an entire video about it last week. So I know there are going to be negative ones, but I have not received any negative ones yet. All right, let's see. This one comes to us from, that's just sending in one we've already read. That was YO's again. Let's see. What's this? Here we go. Real Anarchy put one out, and it's a GIF, and it says, Snoop Dogg, this motherfucker don't miss. That's a good reaction. I like that one. That one's good. Okay. let's see here. This one sent in by Diego. Oh, this is one we've already read. This was the All Saints one. We've already read that. Let's see if this one is a new one or not. Nope. Also, it seems like St. Albin's one is going around a lot. Okay, let's see what this one is. Okay. Jessica at Fantastic Four Hour wrote, Superman is fun and full of heart. David Cornsweet is great as Clark, sweet, hopeful, and easy to root for. The movie looks cool, has a light, positive vibe, and even features Crypto the dog, but it's definitely not perfect. It does feel a bit crowded with too many characters. Now, we've heard from some people, worried about that it might feel overcrowded. I have not been worried about it feeling over. I have other worries, but I have not worried about it feeling overcrowded because every movie has tons of characters in it. It's just that you don't recognize the name, but still, that's the one thing they said. They said it might have felt a little crowded. All right. This next one, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. It's coming from an account called DCU Superman News. So take this one with a grain of salt. However, they're just talking about the GQ review. GQ Breaks Embargo offers one of the most distinct superhero films in a long time. We read the GQ one earlier. They obviously loved it. Let's see here. What one is this? This one is... Letterboxd. Yeah, guys, don't send me anything from Letterboxd because I'm not going to believe anything on Letterboxd. Just so you know. That's not a slam on Letterboxd. It's just a matter of timing and everything. Anyway, Arclight wrote in, Superman, okay, I loved it. We'll see if that still stands on my IMAX viewing tomorrow. There are some misses, but more hits than misses is all I can say. Great characters all around. They could have not assembled a better cast. Superman is a wonderful ride of a film. Okay, I got to just cut in here for a second and say this. I was talking to that friend of mine earlier today, the one that she said she hated it. And we were talking about Mike's reaction online. Because you remember Daily Beast broke embargo the other day, and they hated it, right? Daily Beast said they hated it. It was terrible. So then Mike, who is like one of the OG online film critics and film pundits, like one of the best, right? Former member of Joe Blow, one of their main guys over at Joe Blow. Then I think he's one of the founders of Screen Junkies, or not Screen Junkies, Screen Crush, and has done more since then. Mike got online and said, look, regarding that leaked review, I couldn't disagree more. I thought this was the most fun since Top Gun Maverick, right? So anyway, me and this friend of mine who also knows Mike, we're talking about that, and she was like, no way, this is as good as Top Gun Maverick. But anyway, I said to her, I kind of expect some mixed reactions. Like I expect this is going to be a movie that's totally going to appeal to some people and totally won't appeal to others. And I'm expecting to see love it or hate it. But we've probably read through what tonight? About 20 of these reactions that have come out, and all of them have been pretty damn positive. So let's see here. Anyway, this one comes from John Dobson, sent in by Ryan. And let me see if I can get this a little bigger on the screen. There we go. John Dotson wrote, from John Movie Watch, wrote, Superman is a winner. I have complaints with the Marvel levels of CGI, but James Gunn crafted a splashy, colorful superhero film with tremendous characters. Mr. Terrific stole the movie from me, and this is my favorite Lois and Clark. That's pretty cool. I like that one. That one's good. All right, let's keep going and see what else we can find here. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, this is Reaction Watch, where all we're doing is going over the reactions that we're seeing of Superman coming out. And it is now past 9 p.m. LA time, which means the official embargo is now lifted. So we should start seeing a lot more of these. Let's see if we can find more that have not been read yet. Let's see. Samuel Leggett Jr. writes, Gunn has done something that I only thought possible in animated form. He not only made us believe a man could fly, but made us believe a person could care so much about preserving the preservation of life, all life. Halt is the best movie live action Lex, an unmissable experience. Now, slow your roll a bit. I mean, the great Gene Hackman, But I mean, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. Okay, let's keep reading here. More coming in. Let's see. That's just a video, so I can't watch that. Okay, this is the next one. This sent in to us by Zach, and it's from Randon Chullables, anyway, who wrote, I've seen all the Superman movies and animated series, from Reeves to Cavill, but this one easily takes the top spot. If you are thinking, nah, you've seen them all, this one is different. For everything that is super about Clark Kent / Kal-El, he's also every inch a human. What a refreshing take. P.S. or please watch this. Don't skip it. And he's got a picture of himself there in the screening. That's positive to hear. That's a good one to hear. All right, we keep moving now. And by the way, guys, just to let you know, we're going to keep reading reactions here. We're going to keep reading, and they're unfiltered. I'm reading all the reactions. We're going through them. Now, at some point, we're going to have enough of reading them, and then I'm going to go over and start taking your comments and questions. If you have a thought, observation, I'm only taking them questions about Superman tonight. Superman, the reactions, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and send in a super chat, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But for now, we're just going to keep right on reading. We're just going to keep right on reading these things as they are coming in. All right, we got another one here. Let's see if it's actually one we haven't read yet. This one comes to us from Andrew Cow, Redefining Real Estate Law. I used to work in real estate law. I have a kindred spirit here. And obviously at the Superman IMAX screening. And, oh, it's not actually a reaction. Oh, no, it's right there. Just 2-word reaction. Simply phenomenal. Simply phenomenal. Good to hear. All right. Next up, let's see. Ryan Rumo sent this one in. This is sending in their own reaction. And Ryan wrote, James Gunn did not jam. That's the second time we've seen that. Superman is a fantastical masterpiece. It feels like a comic book transformed into a film, literally. Corn Sweat was born for the role, and Holt does exceptionally well as Lex. The CGI is noticeable. We're hearing that from a bunch of people, that there are some moments where the CGI might get a little wonky, or maybe they use too much of it, but doesn't take you out of the film. Hashtag Superman. Okay. Let's see. The next one up we have is from Superman Review. Oh, that was from Austin. We've already read that one. This is one we've already read as well. We're getting some repeat ones coming in now. Okay, this one comes from the main 3, wrote, this is Superman and nobody can convince me otherwise. Score is immaculate with nothing but bangers, and that's the second time somebody's mentioned the score. I've not even really been thinking about the score, but anyway, the score is immaculate with nothing but bangers, and the usage of it is even banger. This movie in IMAX and a crowd is what made this movie for me. Everyone laughed, cheered, and even cried. And again, there's their picture of them at the screening. All right. Next up. I mean, look, okay, so far, the general consensus seems to be it's fantastic. We haven't read one that hasn't liked the movie yet. I'm sure we will get some. I'm 100% sure we will. But so far, every single one of the ones that we've read so far have been absolutely phenomenal. They're saying Corn Sweat's fantastic. Everybody's praising Nicholas Hoult. They're saying the side characters are great. The 2 most repeated criticisms we've heard so far in the first half hour here or so have been, number 1, every once in a while the CGI gets a little wonky. And one person mentioned there was maybe too much CGI. The second complaint, a couple of people have mentioned that they thought it had some pacing issues here and there, but even those people said they loved it. But anyway, all right, we keep going now. We got another one coming in from X. Oh, this is one we've already read. Another one. Oh, that's a YouTube one. We're not taking YouTube ones. That's another one. Now we're starting to get some repeat ones. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. This is our first negative one. And I can't get it on the screen, but this is our first negative one from Yash. And Yash said, just got out of my Superman screening, and man, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Man of Steel was better. I don't mind hearing that. I love Man of Steel. Anyway, Man of Steel was better. This felt like a zero-stakes Saturday morning cartoon. Not enough Superman. Too many side characters. So there we go. I told you we were going to get some negative ones. So there's our first negative one. And again, there's a couple of these I can't bring on screen, but there's a picture, there's a picture of them actually in the theater watching it. So their thing is they think Man of Steel is better. To me, that's not so bad because Man of Steel is fantastic, in my opinion. Too many side characters, stuff like that. So there we go. We got a negative one. All right. We keep going now. As the 9 o'clock deadline has passed, more and more are starting to flood in. Let's see. This one is from RJ. And RJ writes, Resident Justice writes, this sent to us by Carter, wrote, I'm thrilled to share with you all that Superman is indeed spectacular. James Gunn has grown so much as a filmmaker and storyteller, and it's none more evident than with this film. It's everything I could have ever dreamed of and hoped for as a fan of DC since I was a child. Superman is the kind of film that reminds you why you fell in love with not just comic books, but with comic book films as a whole. If this is a sign of things to come with the new DC universe under the leadership of Gunn and Safran, then we are truly in for a treat. Again, this is from the verified account on Twitter of RJ. Again, let me read that first part again. I love this. I'm thrilled to share with you all that Superman is indeed spectacular. Good to hear. Good to hear. I'm sure we're going to get some more negative ones, but it's good to hear that one there. All right, let's take a look at another one here. Oh, again, this is Letterboxd. We're not going to do Letterboxd. Let's see. Here's another one up. And this one is from Jenks. Again, verified account. Jenks writes, my review of Superman. James Gunn's Superman is the most comic accurate superhero. Wow. The most comic book accurate superhero film I've ever seen. It's visually stunning, full of heart, and constantly engaging. Cornsweet captures the kindness and hope at Superman's core. This does for Clark what the Batman did for Bruce. It's special. So there you go. There you go. Oh, and I see my buddy Sean Chandler is in there. By the way, I shouldn't say this publicly. Sean, get mad at me later if you want. I'm not going to say who the other person is. Sean and I have talked about maybe doing a little something together. I mean, you've already seen him on my show, but Sean and I have been discussing about maybe doing something together. I'll share more later, but it's good to see. How you doing, Sean? All right, let's keep this thing going here. The next one up comes to us from, we've already had this one. This is Jessica's from Fantastic. So we've got that one. It's going to happen, guys. We're going to get some duplicates sent in here, and that's okay. We've already got the one from Resident Justice. Let's see. This one from, is this one? Oh, yeah, we've already got this one from Jeremy. Let's see. Here's another. Okay, we've had about 40. This will be our second mixed one. It says, Alt Entertainment writes, Superman was a solid superhero movie. Thank you to IMAX for the screening. Some of the CGI was wonky. We've been hearing that from a number of people, but still a solid launcher for the DCU. Very comic booky, which I like, but I don't know how others may feel. I did really enjoy it. So again, another kind of comment about some of the wonkiness of the CGI. You know, a lot of people have said from the trailers that they were a little bit worried that the CGI would be a bit wonky. I thought it looked good. I thought the CGI in the trailers looked good, but we are hearing from even people who are loving the movie that maybe some of the CGI is a little bit wonky. All right. Oh, that's again the one we've already seen. I think this is a new one. Yes. Michelle wrote in, Superman had the whole theater cheering, vibrant and action-packed. This film is filled with so much hope. The entire cast brought it, especially David and Nicholas, giving everything I wanted to see with Superman and Lex. And, you know, Robert Meyer Burnett has been saying a lot on the show about how much he's been falling in love with both David Corenswet and Nicholas Hoult. He's seeing them. The more he said, I've seen them get interviewed, the more I completely believe this is truly our Superman. This is truly our Nicholas Hoult. And I say that with all due respect to my man, Henry, who was always going to be my favorite Superman. but we've been hearing like a lot of people saying that these two absolutely crush it, and it's good to hear. All right. Now, again, guys, I just want to reemphasize, I'm not screening these. I'm bringing them up as they're coming in. I'm not like only screening them for the positive. This is just all the ones we've been getting coming in. All right, next one up. Oh, that's the one from Ryan. We've already got that one. Let's see. Oh, our friend Eric Davis. Verified Eric Davis, of course, a friend of ours. He wrote this. Derek, by the way, is another one of like the OG online film critics. He's like impeccable. Anyway, James Gunn's Superman is the perfect superhero movie and a terrific start for the new DC studios. It's big, bright, exciting, full of hope. It never loses its sense of wonder. Watching it felt like ripping open a comic book and feasting on its wild, chaotic imagination. I loved it. Gunn set up his universe right from the start and jumps into Superman's story when he's at his lowest point. It's narrative choices like that which help make this feel unlike any Superman story we've experienced before on the big screen. Gunn goes out of his way to change things up and shake loose our expectations, but it still plays like a classic Superman adventure at the same time. All right. He writes a lot. I'm not going to read any more because Eric's writing a bit of a novel there. But I mean, the basic line is Eric Davis is saying, which by the way, one of the OG online movie fan sites, Cinematical. Eric came out of that. He's now he's just, and one of the OGs here. He's saying it is the perfect superhero movie and he loved it. All right. Good to know. Okay. We move on now. Let's see here. We got one from, Dorian, and Dorian Talks Movies writes, just saw Superman. Wow, what a blast. James Gunn delivers a fun, emotional, action-packed movie and accomplishes to make Superman look cool. Lex Luthor is a terrifying and credible villain, and I hope to see a lot more of him. The DCU is off to an amazing start. And then, like most people, posting a picture of themselves there in the theater, which is good to see. Gives a little bit of credibility to it. All right, let's keep going here. This one comes to us. If I can get it. Why can't I get these on the page? Anyway, this is from my best friend, Grace Randolph. But Grace says, this is the best Superman movie to date. When James Gunn gets out of the way and lets his work speak for itself, it's incredible. It's not perfect, but darn close. And it made me a believer in Gunn's DC. Review embargo lifts tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's noon tomorrow. That's why we're going to be talking on the John Campea Show tomorrow. So, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't expecting Grace to like it, but apparently Grace liked it. All right. Next up, we've got... Oh, that's the same one that we've already seen. This one comes to us from Owl, who writes, Owl wasn't there. Okay. So the gun wasn't jammed. It's Kevin Feige. It's not all that. Rotten Tomatoes, 100%. Just so it's understood, I don't believe there's a Rotten Tomatoes score for it yet. At least there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be one for it yet. Let me just double check to make sure. Yes. Yeah. There's no Rotten Tomatoes score yet. There will be tomorrow, and we're going to talk about the full reviews on the John Campea Show tomorrow. But for now, we're at that. All right, let's see here. Is this a new one? Yes, a new one. Addie wrote, David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult gave generational performances in this movie. The dynamic between them was so fun, especially in the third act. Nicholas Hoult as Lex might as well go down as one of the greatest castings of all time. And here's the funny thing about that. Nicholas Hoult didn't even audition for Lex Luthor. Some of you know this. Some of you may not. Nicholas Hoult went in to audition for Superman. He auditioned for the lead role of Superman. And they loved him so much. And James Gunn said, you know what? He'd be perfect as Lex, and went for that. But there's this great interview with Nicholas Hoult where he's like, I knew I wasn't going to get Superman the moment I met David Cornsweet. Because he said, like, I met David and talked to him for like a minute. And I was like, fuck, that guy is Superman and he's going to get the role. Sure enough, he did. But then they brought in Nicholas's as Lex, and apparently everybody freaking loves him as Lex. All right. That is one we've already seen. All right. Oh, this one's from Rachel Leischman. You know, we quoted her a lot on here. Said, Superman reminds us that Clark Kent has always been a beacon of hope and the goodness that can exist in this world. James Gunn Vision is a comic book brought to life, and it brought a lightness and a happiness to one of the most beloved heroes around. That's a nice one. I like that one. All right. Next up, let's see here. Is this one? Oh, we actually got one from I love these guys over at JoeBlow.com. And Joe Blow, their official Twitter account, wrote this. We saw Superman, and it was a mixed bag for our critic. Not a disaster at all, has some great moments, but not as good as hoped for. Oddly, the movie shortchanged a vital character, Lois Lane, and surprisingly, Clark Kent. Lots of soups, not much Clark. Now, this comes just from our friends over at Joe Blow. This is the second mixed to negative review we've had. So there we go. Our guys over at Joe Blow, at least the one critic over at Joe Blow, didn't like it so much. So there we go. All right. We go to another one. This one is, again, let me see if I can get this. I can't get this on screen. All right. This one comes to us from Shabazz at the Movie Podcast, who wrote, Superman soars. Even if it doesn't always stick the landing, Corn Sweat is stellar as the Man of Steel. Holt's Luthor-ness villainy is top tier, and Brosnan is a magnetic Lois. Crypto steals scenes, and the Justice Gang dynamic punches up this bold new chapter. You must see it in IMAX. All right. Let's see here. Sean, who is in our live chat, Sean Chandler's, somebody finally sent us in Sean's thing, and Sean said this: Superman was my most anticipated film of the year, and I left the theater with a smile on my face. It's possibly the most comic booky live-action comic book film ever. It fully leans into the wacky sci-fi. It really feels like a comic book for Justice League Unlimited on screen, which is one of the things, you know, it's funny. In talking about Superman over the last month or so, a lot of people have written into the show specifically saying, I kind of wanted to feel like Justice League Unlimited, is what people would write into the show and say. I want it to feel like Justice League Unlimited. And Sean Chandler is sitting here saying it feels like Justice League Unlimited. So I know that's going to make a lot of people very, very happy. All right. Let's get on to the next one. Let's see. Oh, wow. There's a bunch of them here. So that one we've had. Let me see if we've had this one. All right. Danny Jarbreck wrote, Superman feels more alive than ever. Gunn's imagination is a frenzy of delicious personality for better and worse, but the heroism recentering on kindness and decency in an era of egomaniac politics is refreshing and relevant. Everyone is great, but only one character is, quote unquote, terrific. Get it? Huh? Get it? Because Mr. Terrific? Anyway. That one we got. Oh, we got our one in from Jermaine Lucier, who's a friend of our shows. I've had Jermaine on my show before. He's excellent. He says, Superman soars. It's a nonstop joyride, packed with humor, action, and emotion. There's spectacle despair, unbridled optimism, and a goofy unpredictability that ties everything together. And when there are even when there are a few minor issues, we've never seen DC like this, and it's great. Which, again, good to hear that from Jermaine Lucier. All right, let's see here. That's the RG one. We've already got that one in there. We've already got that one. We've got that one. We're getting a bunch of repeat ones in here now. Oh, Brandon Davis wrote, Superman is a triumph for the new DC universe. It's a comic book brought to beautiful live action life, brimming with hope and fulfillment. It actually elicited tears of joy from me. It's a Superman for everyone. David Cornsweat was born for Superman and Clark Kent. I loved it. And Brandon Davis is, again, a guy, one of the online stalwarts in the online movie sphere. That's a good one to hear. So again, Brandon Davis, Superman is a triumph for the new DC universe. Good to hear. All right. Let's see this one. This one comes to us from, can I get it on screen? I can get this one on screen. Look at this. Let me just blow it up a bit. All right. Anthony wrote, Superman is a visually stunning spectacle, ripped straight out of the comics. James Gunn reclaims the symbol of hope with a bold, triumphant rebirth of a timeless hero. Cornsweat stands tall as the man of tomorrow in a film that wears its heart on its cape and dares to dream big. That is very well written. I don't know if I'll like the movie, but that is, let me read that again. Superman is a visually stunning spectacle ripped straight out of the comics. James Gunn reclaims the symbol of hope with a bold, triumphant rebirth of a timeless hero. Cornsweat stands tall as the man of tomorrow in a film that wears its heart on its cape and dares to dream big. All right, let's keep things going here. What do we got up next? Next up, we have, let's see if this is one we've had already. That is one we've had already. Let's see. That's the one we've got already. That's one we've got already. We're getting more and more copy ones that we've already seen. Okay. Ross wrote, again, I can't get this one on screen, but I saw a screening of Superman tonight. Not everything works, but it's never boring and covers a ton of ground in 2 hours. There's some surprising political content that's going to upset some people for sure, but it's overall a fun ride. I'll post my review here tomorrow. Let me just kind of say this for a second. I've been seeing a lot of talk all day because James Gunn talked a little bit about the fact that, look, because this is what Superman is. I often tell people this. Superman is an illegal alien. He's an illegal immigrant. That's what he is. He came into the United States illegally. That's what he is. By the way, he's Canadian. Just want to make sure everybody remembers that. Superman is Canadian, created by a Canadian. Anyway. And so the idea of like an alien in a foreign land and what it means to adopt a home and the whole idea of kindness and goodness and stuff like that. It's like what is wrong with any of that? But some people are going to hear that and say it's political. It sounds more like human decency than political talk, but hey, what do I know? That's just me. All right. Let's see. Next up, we go to, our friend Eric Voss over at New Rockstars. We share the same business manager, I think. Anyway, Eric Voss writes, James Gunn's Superman is the comic book movie I've been waiting to see for decades. The film shines with a sense of play that, paired with kick-ass filmmaking, superhero cinema hasn't seen this boldly served since Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which some people consider to be the greatest comic book movie of all time. Again, this is Eric Voss from New Rockstars writing, James Gunn's Superman is the comic book movie I've been waiting for decades. The film shines with a sense of play that, paired with kick-ass filmmaking, superhero cinema hasn't seen since boldly served since Sam Raimi's Superman 2, which is awesome to hear from somebody like Eric Voss. That's amazing. All right. Let's see. Michelle Reed wrote, can I get this on screen? Let me see. Why won't it let me take these on screen? Anyway, Superman had the whole theater cheering, vibrant and action-packed. This film is filled with so much hope. The entire cast brought it, especially David and Nicholas. Everything I wanted to see in Superman Lex. Oh, you know what? I think we had that one already. So it's okay that I wasn't able to get it on screen. Okay. That's one that we've already had. Okay, that one we've already had. All right. This one, take with a grain of salt because it's from DC Film News, so they might be a little biased. All right, let's take this one with a grain of salt. But DC Film News, the certified account, wrote, Superman is flat out good, brimming with hope, optimism, and wearing its heart on its sleeve. It's a different kind of comic book film, one that truly feels like a comic book brought to life. David Cornsweat is superb as Superman for all seasons. James Gunn nails the spirit of the character and this DC universe. All right, so it's another good one. Again, I need to remind everybody, and I knew that I need to do this for everybody joining us a little bit late, whatever. I am simply reading these as they are coming in. I am not screening these. I am not filtering these. I am simply, people are sending these in. I'm opening them and reading them. And so far, there's been about 40 rave reviews of it, calling it fantastic, masterpiece, all this kind of stuff. One straight up negative one and one very mixed bag so far. Again, that doesn't mean automatically that I'm going to like it when I see it, but so far it's looking pretty good. All right, let's see. This next one comes to us from Hollywood Handle that writes, and the verified account of Hollywood Handle writes, Superman perfectly understands what it means to be human. It's a powerful and promising start to the new DCU. The film moves you by revealing the heart behind the cape. David is phenomenal, but a huge highlight is how Nicholas Hoult delivers a phenomenal Lex Luthor. Cold, charismatic, and menacing. One of the best villains DC has ever brought to the screen. The score and sound design are out of this world. You feel every note, every impact makes you soar inside. Full review coming tomorrow. Of course, at noon our time is when that one's going to lift. So that's great to hear. All right. Let's see. We already got Brandon's. Let's see. Oh, okay. This one is saying it's a negative one. All right. This is our second out of about 40 or 50 negative ones. We got another negative one here. It's from the Marvelous Mark, who wrote, the new Superman movie really missed the mark for me when it comes to storytelling. I think Flash did a much better job. The CGI reminded me too much of the Flash movie, which is not a good thing. The jokes and humor felt like they were taken straight from Thor Ragnarok. Well, Ragnarok's a good one. Love and Thunder, not so much. But they just didn't fit the tone of the Superman film. The action sequences felt more suited for Guardians of the Galaxy, which is strange for a DC project. This one goes on a little bit too long, but there's another one that didn't quite like it. It didn't quite land for them. So that's our second one of somebody not liking it that much. All right. Fair enough. Listen, guys, that's the beautiful thing about movies. They're art, and art is subjective, and you're not going to get something that everybody likes or that everybody hates. All right. Let's see. That's one we already had. Let's go. Oh, Perry Nemiroff got hers up. All right. Perry used to work for me. She's fantastic. Writes, Superman made me so damn happy. The movie is loaded with exhilarating action set pieces and well-placed humor and levity. But the beating heart of the film is Superman's humanity and his insistence on doing good and making the world a better place. David Cornsweet brings such an infectious determination and warmth to the role that it makes that pursuit all-consuming and impossibly heartening. Making that an even more robust aspect of the movie, Gunn and company don't shy away from exploring the challenges one might occur when trying to navigate our reality while holding tight to those core values. So Perry Nemiroff clearly loved it. That's great to see. Let's see here. This is one. I'll see if I can get this one on screen, and I think I can. Let me get it blown up so you guys can see it. All right. Gossip Girl wrote, I've lived in the pages and panels of DC officials since I can remember. Superman was the first time I felt like I saw it in live action for real. It's so unafraid to lean into what makes DC so magical. Superman hasn't soared high like this in a long time. That's a really good one. I like that one too. Now, again, I go to see Superman tomorrow, so watch for my out of the theater reaction to that. But these are ones that are now coming out tonight now that the review embargo has lifted. Okay, there's one we've had. That's another one we've had. Let's see. Perry's we've had. Eric Davis's we've had. Okay, here's one. Let me see. Can I get this one on screen? No, I can't. This one comes from Geek Vibes Nation, who writes, Superman is a thoroughly entertaining reboot of the world's greatest superhero and his respective universe. James Gunn leans heavily onto colorful camp, yielding many sequences that feel like they were ripped straight from a Golden Age comic book. He clearly had a blast inventing. That's cool to hear. Let's see here. We got that one already. All right. This one comes to us from Next Best Picture, the verified account, and writes, Superman is just as fun, vibrant, and idiosyncratic as James Gunn's The Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy films. Yet it still captures the empowering, hopeful spirit of the comics. His distinctive style and offbeat humor, along with the crowded cast of characters and narrative bloat, may not be for everyone, but Gunn was never going to please everyone, no matter what he did. For me, it mostly works, especially because Gunn shows such a deep understanding of what Superman should represent in 2025, while staying true to what the character has always stood for. David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult all feel perfectly cast in their iconic roles. Yes, Krypto is awesome. But it's Edie, I always mispronounce his last name, Gathaji, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, who unexpectedly steals the show as the calm and cool Mr. Terrific. There are moments when the film soars, surprises, stumbles, and falls, but it's consistently energetic, full of promise, and delivers a hero audiences can look up to, relate to, and believe in as DC Studios looks to the future. Sounds pretty good. I like hearing that. Okay, let's see. Let's take just a couple more, and then we're going to go over and start taking your guys' thoughts and everything. So let's see. We already got the Hollywoods. Let's see. Okay, here's one. Let's see if I can get it on screen. Yes. This one, again, let me see if I can get a little bigger on screen for you guys here. Tasman of SDCC writes, I saw Superman. It's ripped straight from the pages of a comic book. That's what we keep hearing. Everybody's saying it's like, this is just like a comic book come to life. I've never heard it said as much about a comic book movie as this one. It's a Superman I can't wait to introduce to my son. It's fun, hopeful, and everything a Superman movie should be. I loved it. If this is what James Gunn DCU looks like, you can count me in all the way. Oh, that's a nice one to hear. I love hearing that. I want to introduce my son to this one. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see. That's one we've had. Let's see. That one we've got. Let's see. Can I get this one? Okay, here we go. Nuke the Fridge wrote, one of the most impressive things about Superman is how every supporting character gets their moment and they're all great. But make no mistake, Superman stays front and center. This is his movie through and through. I remember one of the things some people were concerned about coming into the film was that there's so many characters, and really there's not. There's no more characters in this movie than any other movie. It's just that you recognize a bunch of the characters. But a lot of people, I read concerns that it's not even a Superman movie anymore. It's a Justice League movie. But it's good to hear him saying, like, make no mistake, this is clearly a Superman movie. He is front and center. It is through and through his movie. So that's good to hear. Hopefully that will alleviate some of the fears that some people had. All right. We've had that. We've had that. We've had that. Again, we're getting a lot of the similar ones. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can somehow get this on screen. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to try. Because I keep having to just read these ones. There's a certain kind of file that some people are sending me that I can't get to download onto the screen. So let me see if I can just do it this way here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to try, damn it. Oh, that didn't even work at all. Oh, yes, it did. Hold a second. All right, let's see if I can get this blown up so you can see it. All right. This one from Sean O'Connell writes, I love Superman. Gave me the biggest, goofiest, stupidest, full-face grin as I reveled in everything James Gunn staged. Perfectly cast and world building. It's unapologetically comic booky. I know Robert Meyer Burnett's going to love that. Because one of the things, even in a lot of his favorite ones, he's like, I've never really come across a movie that isn't afraid to just be a comic book movie. Anyway, it's unapologetically comic booky, which won't work for some, but as far as DC comic movies go, it's a blistering delight. It's a blistering delight. Look, guys, at this point, we're now about an hour into it that we've been reading these reviews. At this point, I'm ready to call it. Everybody seems to love it. Everybody with there's been two negative ones. Legitimately, like, it didn't work for them. They weren't trying to be hate. As far as I can tell, they weren't trying to be haters or anything like that. They said, hey, we saw it, didn't work for us. Nothing wrong with that. But like, overwhelming. The response we're getting, like from some of the bigger places like GQ magazine, to some of the OG YouTube film pundits, to some of the smaller ones as well, they're all just saying this thing's spectacular. This thing is fantastic. They're just saying masterpiece. David Cornsweet was born to play this role, all that kind of stuff. I think we're ready to call it. Almost everybody likes this. Almost everybody loves this so far. Sean Chandler just wrote in something interesting. He said, everyone I talked to, the chat is moving so fast. Sean says, everyone I talked to outside of the theater was very positive on the film. Even my 13-year-old was way more positive than I expected, which is, it's good to hear. I mean, it just seems that people are loving this. It seems like James Gunn does what James Gunn do. He delivers. It's just what James Gunn do. James Gunn delivers. He's always delivered. And so, yeah, good to see. All right, let's just see if there's a couple more here. Let's see. Got that one. Okay, we're getting a lot of the repeat ones now. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to stop taking and reading the reactions that come in. We've been doing Reaction Watch for about an hour now. And guys, what can I say? Listen, if you were not around at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that I was talking to that one friend of mine earlier today on the phone, like not texting. We were on the phone, and she's the one that really didn't like this movie, like does not like. She was one of the very lucky people that got to see it like a week or two ago. And I did a whole video about the fact that I have this friend. She didn't like the movie at all. She hated it, as a matter of fact, hated it. And so she and I were talking on the phone a little bit earlier today. And she went into some more of the reasons it didn't work for her. And I said to her, we're doing Reaction Watch tonight, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of mixed takes. It sounds to me, the way she was describing it, that it's going to be one of those films that really appeals to some people and really won't appeal to others. But tonight, it's been an overwhelming flood of positivity. Like I said, I have not been filtering these. I have not been screening these. I've been reading them as they're coming in. And I was expecting to see it more mixed, right? Which is fine for me. I'm cool if it's mixed. Not everybody's going to love everything. But clearly, the overwhelming sentiment here is that this movie is a triumph, that this movie is a winner. And I listen, guys, I got to tell you, as somebody who this is my most anticipated film of the year, I've had most anticipated films of the year that I've walked out disappointed in. And I've, of course, been very afraid that that's going to happen with Superman. But so far, it sounds like this thing's a big winner. The general consensus seems to be this is a magnificent winner. Now, going to reemphasize that tomorrow is when the actual full review embargo lifts, and we're going to get the full reviews tomorrow. It's not uncommon that when the full reviews come out, they can be a little bit less positive than the first reactions. And that makes sense. When people just have a quick reaction they can give, they want to focus more on the positive. But I mean, this is beyond that. Like, this is really huge. So my guess right now, we're going to talk about the full reviews on the John Campea Show tomorrow. My guess right now is that the Rotten Tomato, I'm going to call it right now. Here's my guess. The Rotten Tomatoes score for Superman is going to be 82%. I'm going to go with 82%. If it can be over 80, that's insane. I'm going to say 82% is what it's going to come in at. Again, if it comes in at like 40, I'm going to be so sad. But I'll of course be seeing it tomorrow. All right, guys, that is all the reactions that we're going to read tonight. Now it is time for us to go over and start taking your super chats that you guys have sent in. Now, I am turning off the super chats. We've already got a ton of you guys have sent a bunch in, so I'm going to turn them off now. I'm just going to read the ones that have come in already, and then we will call it a night. But we got some more stuff to talk about here, so let's get over to the super chats you guys have been sending in. And we're going to start off with, let me see if I can get this. Oh, that's too big. That's why it looked wrong. Okay, here we go. We're starting off with, sorry, I got to go down and find the starting point. We're starting off with Alex, who writes, and let me just see if I can get this better. That's a little, okay, there we go. Alex writes, hey, John, I know Henry Cavill is your favorite Superman. Damn right he is. But does David Cornsweet have a chance to change that for you? Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Every time somebody plays Superman, there's a chance they could become my new favorite, right? Like Brandon Routh was my favorite Superman before Henry Cavill. And then I saw Man of Steel and Henry owned it and Henry became my favorite Superman. Could that happen again with David Cornsweet? It's a tall order, but yeah, it's absolutely possible that it could happen. I wouldn't say it's likely, but it could happen. All right. Alex also writes, going to see Superman tomorrow with a friend. Just curious, how many times are you going to go see it? And how many times should somebody see Superman to have the best viewing experience possible? Well, if a movie is well made, your best viewing experience should be your first time seeing it. I mean, if a movie is well made, how many times am I going to see it? I'm seeing it tomorrow, and then I have tickets for Thursday. Then how many times will I see it will all depend on whether I like it or not. Now, listen, the reactions tonight have been overwhelmingly positive. Overwhelmingly positive. But that doesn't mean I'm going to like it, right? I've gone into a lot of movies that I expected to love. And you guys know, if you watch my show, it happens that I then come out of it and going, oh, that was not the movie I was hoping it would be. And maybe that could happen with Superman. Maybe that can happen with Superman. So how many times I'll see it overall will very, very much depend on how much I like it tomorrow. If I like it a lot, I'll see it 6, 7, 8 times. If I don't, then Thursday will be the last time I see it. I'll at least see it twice. I'm at least going to see it tomorrow and then again on Thursday, but then after that, we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Bry Guy writes, over under on my final Superman prediction Rotten Tomato score is 81%. That's very close to mine. I was picking 82. Box office, 741 million worldwide. If it can make 700 million with all the baggage that this is coming in with, that would be amazing. I think 700 million is a good target number for it. I don't think it's going to be much higher than that when it's all said and done. Then future movies can make more once they start rebuilding and rejuvenating and rehabilitating the image of DC to average film goers. That's hopefully what this movie will do. But I think that's a good rough number around there. If it can make that much, I think that's a big win for them, Bry Guy. Christopher Brickner writes, how you doing, Christopher? Writes, the 2025 NBA Finals game. I'm not talking about NBA tonight, stuff like that. You're asking about the injury that happened, which was just absolutely terrible to happen to their best players during. That was just awful, man. Poor Halliburton is right, Christopher. Anyway, Daniel Brown writes, I got my Superman tickets for Thursday at my local Megaplex in Platinum X. Part 1 of 2. I would like to add what these quiet room is in Platinum X. So a quiet room is this room inside the auditorium in the far back right corner. I've seen these before. What the quiet room is used for is for parents or guardians to deal with their children if they misbehave or throw fits, so the film's experience isn't interrupted. Can I just say, I love that when movie theaters do that, when movie theaters have a room like that. Because listen, I have a lot of empathy. Because listen, going to the movies can be a little expensive. I mean, it's cheaper than doing almost anything else, but it still can be a little expensive, right? Getting a babysitter can be ridiculously expensive. I have a lot of empathy for parents who go to movies with their kids. I have a lot of empathy for people who do. And I don't even mind when a baby starts to get fussy. I do start to mind if like 10, 20 minutes pass and they can't calm the baby down. Well, then at that point, you got to be responsible and take the baby out of the theater to be courteous to everybody else in the theater. But again, some people say people shouldn't bring babies to movies. I disagree. I think we need to have more empathy for that. But again, after a while, you got to be courteous to everybody else and take the baby out of the theater. For theaters to actually have a dedicated room where it's like, hey, listen, you paid your money to come see the movie, but your baby is being a distraction. Here's a place you can still watch the movie, and it's okay if you can't get your baby to calm down. And for you to get that for a Superman screening, I think is awesome. I think that's really, really well done. I like it when movie theaters can do that. I'm sure it's not cheap to build those, but I think it's great. Anyway, Daniel Brown continues on. So you won't have to worry about toddlers or a crying baby because their parents can just go with their kids to the quiet room, and that's at the back of the auditorium. Again, Daniel, I think that's great. I think that is absolutely wonderful. I wish more theaters would do fan-friendly things like that. Because adding more trailers, not a fan-friendly thing. Giving a dedicated room where you can go into if your child is like hard to keep quiet down, but you still want to see the movie, that's a great fan-friendly thing to do. I'm glad they did that. All right. Next up, Jeffrey Pemberton writes, I got to see a screening of Superman tonight. Nice. I'm hyped up too much for myself, but still thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely a James Gunn movie. Snyder Bros will not be impressed. Mr. Terrific stole it. Yeah, I mean, look. Snyder fans, like me, hopefully will enjoy it. The toxic, cancerous waste of space Snyder Bros who have already determined they hate it no matter what and are going in, they're not even going to go see it. I mean, they just want to create a narrative that this thing sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Did you even see it? I don't need to see it to know that it sucks. There's nothing you can do about those people. I mean, that's fine. And by the way, listen, people, I may not like the movie. You may not like the movie. If you see somebody that doesn't like the movie, it might just be because they watched the movie and it didn't work for them. Guys, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you see some people who don't like the movie, don't just automatically clump them in with the Snyder Bros, right? They just may be an average film goer that went to go see it, and you know what? It didn't work for them, and there's nothing wrong with that. I need everybody to keep that in mind. All right. Let's see. Next up, we've got Daniel Brown again who writes, what's more exciting, this being a super Marketing movie, probably just meant Superman movie, this being the first film in the DCU, or this being the first film from DC Studios and not WB? Well, I mean, that's semantics. It is kind of from WB because DC Studios is owned by WB. I mean, but point well taken. This is the first time they're making a movie with its own dedicated studio. And that is exciting. The fact that it's a new Superman movie is exciting. But to me, the most exciting thing is that it's the first film of a brand new cinematic universe. You know, I really think even when Marvel was firing on all cylinders, what we as movie fans really needed was a second truly healthy, active, and successful cinematic universe to go along with the MCU one. And I'm just very excited that we're getting another go at it, and I can't wait to see it. And I hope, Daniel, it ends up being good. All right. Smart with Steph and Alfie sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Smart, for doing that and supporting our channel on that level. Really appreciate it. All right. Writes, hey, John, bought Superman. Oh, bring on the Superman. I've got my tickets for Thursday. Can't wait to spend this evening getting excited for the movie. I have not been this excited for a movie since The Last Starfighter. Oh my God. Have fun tomorrow. Peace. Well, thank you for that, Smart. And by the way, you're speaking my language, brother. Last Starfighter. By the way, if any of you guys have not seen The Last Starfighter, watch The Last Starfighter. It's a movie that was way ahead of its time and should totally be remade today. Somebody needs to do a remake of The Last Starfighter because that movie is even more relevant today than when it came out. And the way it could be heightened with modern effects and techniques, I just think it would be great. Anyway, Last Starfighter, man. Oh, what a great movie. What do? We die. Oh, such a good movie. Yeah, man, listen, I have not been this excited for a new movie since Deadpool and Wolverine, which is like over a year ago now. I have not been this excited since Deadpool and Wolverine. As a guy who watches movies for a living, who talks about movies for a living, for there to have been over an entire year that I haven't been this excited since another movie, that says a lot. And that doesn't mean I'm going to love it. I hope I do, but, we'll find out. Anyway, thanks again, Smart, for supporting us on that level, man. I appreciate it. Never Lose Your Nerd writes, I'm seeing it Saturday, and honestly, I haven't been that excited for it. Oh, I'm worried that the tone and movie will be too goofy, but hoping I love it. And you know what? Listen, I did an open mic last week where I basically, the title was The 5 Reasons Superman Will Be Awesome and the 5 Reasons It Might Not Be. And one of the primary reasons that you might be apprehensive is I said that, James Gunn's sensibility and humor, I think, always works because he always knows how to find a balance, right? You look at Guardians of the Galaxy 3, for example, a wonderful balance of the fun, lighthearted Guardians of the Galaxy, while at the same time balancing out with this heavy, dark, emotional part, Teefs, and the killing of the little animal. Like, James Gunn knows how to have that balance, but if he allows to happen to him what happened with Taika Waititi in between the brilliant Thor Ragnarok and the not so brilliant Thor Love and Thunder, where Taika Waititi lost that sense of balance and the pendulum skewed all the way over to the just pure silliness. If James Gunn allows that to happen in his Superman movie, we could be in for a long 2 hours. Now, according to all the reactions we're reading, it sounds like he nailed it. But again, so your fear on that, I think, is a legitimate fear. That's a legitimate fear. It's one of the ones that I've had to point out on the show. Now, I'm not saying that we should believe that that's what he's going to do. I'm not saying that he's going to lose balance. I'm just saying that's one of the things that could go wrong and something we'll definitely have to keep our eye on for. But again, Never Lose Your Nerd. It sounds like that wasn't a problem, at least from the people that we're hearing from. All right. Next up, Sam Fisher writes, is that Action Comics 775? I mean, I think that's what the one person said in their review. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what Action Comics 775 is off the top of my head. I don't. So I don't know the reference. But that I do believe is what they said. All right. World's Finest writes, I've not been this excited for a superhero film in ages. John literally shaking with it. Yeah, did you notice that? I caught myself doing that a little bit earlier. Like I'm reading these reactions. Guys, look. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be honest. I absolutely came in tonight expecting kind of mixed, like some really, really positive, some negative, blah, blah, blah. This is my most anticipated movie of the year. So to come in here tonight, and I had not read any of them prior to starting the show. I mean, I read GQ's because they broke that early, and love hearing that GQ magazine gave it such a rave review. But reading these, like 50 out of the 53 have been overwhelmingly positive. And I've been trying to not show my excitement all that much. I've been trying not to let my excitement show so transparently, but I could tell I was even starting to shake a little bit, getting so excited for this. I mean, I'm loving the reactions we're hearing. Again, tomorrow on the John Campea Show, we'll go over the actual full reviews. And again, oftentimes the reviews don't skew as positive as the first reactions. I'm still expecting a vast majority of positive, but I'm expecting it maybe not to be as positive as first reactions. So we'll see again, I'm predicting I'm going to predict 82%. 82% for Superman on Rotten Tomatoes. We'll find out tomorrow on the show. All right. Thanks for that, World's Finest. World's Finest also says, I hope we see Superman change in a telephone booth. I don't, because it's not 1984 anymore. Like, there aren't any telephone booths anymore. Not really. So I don't want that, but maybe some kind of new version of a telephone booth or something. All right. Johnny Weiner writes, I've watched all 6 Superman movies, including Man of Steel. Plus, I watched Lois and Clark pilot and rewatched a few episodes of Smallville animated series and Crisis. Just to all get ready for the Superman movie. You know, I thought about going and doing a rewatch tonight. It's a little late now. I thought about doing a rewatch tonight of Superman 2. John, why not Man of Steel? Because I've seen Man of Steel like probably literally 50 or 60 times. It's been a while since I've seen Superman 2. But I thought about doing a rewatch of Superman 2 tonight. I don't think I'm going to have time, but I did think about doing that. But good on you, man, to getting yourself all prepped up for this new Superman. All right, thanks for that, Avengers Dude. Oh, no, sorry, that was Johnny Weiner. Avengers Dude writes, going to the very first screening of Superman at my local Cinemark on Thursday. I can't wait to see the movie. Love the show and keep bringing on the filthy. Well, thank you so much, man. And like, yeah, I've got my tickets also to the very first screening on Thursday. But I was lucky. I was able to get in and get tickets for the Amazon advanced fan screenings that are happening tomorrow. Me, Ray, Robert, and our friends, Matt and Jay Lynn. We're all going to go see it tomorrow. Super excited. Watch for my out of theater review tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a big Superman day because like on the John Campea Show, we're going to be going over the full reviews that are coming out for Superman. And then later in the evening, I will be posting my out of theater reaction to Superman. You're going to see a very emotional John Campea, but I don't know which emotion. It's going to be one of two. One, it's going to be that pure, unadulterated joy that you saw John Campea have when he first came out of the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Or, because I'm so excited for this movie, if it disappoints me, you are going to see a very sad / angry John Campea tomorrow. Either way, it's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to get a very emotional John Campea tomorrow. I'm just not exactly sure which emotion I'm going to be having. When I come out of the theater, we'll find out. All right. Brian Garcia writes, hey, John, the other day somebody told me Superman looks terribly cartoony. Do you think there's a risk of it being too cartoony? Personally, I disagree, and I'm excited to see Gunn's vision for Superman. Well, number one, is there a risk of it being too cartoony? Yes, absolutely. Look, whenever movie making is a risk, right? If you want it to be funny, you run the risk of it being too silly. If you want it to be dark, you run the risk of going too dark. If you want it to feel like a true comic book movie jumping off the pages of the comic book onto a movie screen, well, then you run the risk of it feeling too cartoony. Is the risk there? 100% the risk is there. No doubt the risk is there. But from the reactions we're hearing, it sounds like it didn't fall into that. It sounds like it just was able to totally follow the line of just being a movie, a comic book springing to life on the movie screen. And now that might mean for some people that in and of itself might feel too cartoony. And that's fair. That's fair. I think for the rest of us it would be pretty damn exciting. So we'll have to wait and see how it all turns out. All right. Next up, we've got Never Daunted Radio Network writes, Shimbo 1977 here. Campea just read my short review. It's a Silver Age masterpiece. You will want more Guy Gardner after you see this. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Never Daunted. Yeah, listen, I was ridiculously excited when we heard that Nathan Fillion was joining the movie. First of all, Nathan Fillion's work with James Gunn goes back a long way. It might even go back before Slither. By the way, Slither is still my favorite James Gunn film. But when I heard that he was going to be not just Green Lantern, but Guy Gardner Green Lantern, oh my God, was I excited. That was just perfect. And then seeing him, like you can tell who's never read the comic books. Because you get to, why does his haircut look so stupid? And listen, if you don't know Guy Gardner from the comic books, that's exactly the reaction you should have. Why is that guy's hair so stupid? But if you know the comic book, you're like, they nailed it. And I think he's going to nail, like even that one short clip in the trailer was like, make your move, Big Blue. Like it's just it's so perfect. And I cannot wait to see that. So thanks for writing in, Never Daunted. I appreciate that, man. And thanks for sharing your review of it. All right. Next is Fuel writes, tears down the leg, we stroking to Superman. Yeah, I have to admit, when we read that in the reaction, I'm like, I'm going to choose to interpret that as so many tears it runs all the way down your leg. Yeah, that's just the way I'm going to choose to interpret it. All right. Ab Locked writes, long live crypto. Listen, I'll tell you what, I admit it. I fully confess. When we first found out that Crypto, the super dog, was going to be in James Gunn's Superman, and those of you who've watched my show for a long time know this, I was like, oh, come on. That was my first red flag of Superman. I'm like, listen, the super dog works fine in a cartoon, and the super dog works fine on a comic book page. That's fine. But you can't do Crypto in a movie. You can't do that. Well, then I was at CinemaCon, and they showed us the footage first, and we got our first look at Crypto. And I had to totally eat my words because I was like, this is brilliant. This is great. It's so full of joy and it's so great. And I'm like, Crypto's going to steal this movie. Now, whether or not Crypto steals the movie, we'll find out. But yeah, I cannot wait to see Crypto in this. I'm really, really excited to see how they do Crypto. And I say that as somebody who was totally against Crypto at first. I admit it. But from everything I've seen so far, I'm pretty excited about it now. All right. Jude Lehman writes, obviously without seeing the first one yet and possibly a reference, for the future of Superman, would you ever want to see him go up against Metallo? Yeah, look, I know it's incredibly unpopular when I say this, but it's absolutely the truth. It's often lonely being right. But I always say this and people hate it, but it never matters who the villain is in a movie. You know why? Because it doesn't matter who the villain is. Because if you can have the best villain in the movie, if they don't write it well, then it doesn't matter. How many Fantastic Four movies have we had with Doctor Doom? Doctor Doom was arguably the greatest, to some people, the greatest comic book villain ever in history, and yet that didn't make those movies good. Yet, you can get James Gunn do a freaking Suicide Squad movie with Starro, which is one of the stupidest things ever. Starro, and if you write it well, it can be fantastic, which is what his Suicide Squad movie was. It was fantastic. So, I mean, could you use Metallo? Of course you can. You can use any guy they have. Any guy they have. By the way, just a shout out to Black Bono Lala, who just sent in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you, man. I appreciate that very much, dude. Just sends it in to be supportive. Thanks, dude. Yeah. I mean, so yes, could they? Yes, but I'm not going to be overly excited or overly negative if they do or don't, because at the end of the day, it's just going to be about whether they write it well. Like, that's what it's all going to be about. And if they can crush it with this Superman movie, I'm going to believe they can write any villain well. So that would be another good one to have. All right. Terrence Fisher writes, my heart is filled with such joy hearing such positive reviews. Superman means to me what Star Wars means to you, maybe more. This is the power of movies. I agree. And listen, if anybody's being honest, Superman has a very special place in all of our hearts. He is the godfather, the granddaddy of all superheroes, right? And sometimes that's a detriment because he's such the embodiment of all the most idealistic virtues of what it means to be human that it can make him a little bit of a Boy Scout and sometimes tough to tell an interesting story around. But I mean, and I say this as a firm lover of the Man of Steel. And love that Zack Snyder did that kind of Superman. I love that movie. I think Henry's, right there he is, right there. I think Henry's Superman is the most underrated comic book film ever made. I'm not saying it's the best comic book film ever made, but I think it is the single most underrated comic book film ever made. That said, I loved it for what it was, but I'm also really hungering for a great return to those other types of virtues, the joyful, the colorful, the things that really embodies the best virtues of all that it means to be human as well. I'm really looking forward to doing that if James Gunn can pull it off. And from the reactions we've heard, Terrence, sounds like maybe he did it. All right. Let's see. Ablock said somebody they read said the movie is terrible. Again, listen, don't be surprised, guys. The Godfather doesn't have 100%. The Godfather, arguably the greatest movie ever made, does not have 100%. right? Movies are art, and art hits us all in different ways. Just because a movie is awful to you doesn't mean it's not going to strike somebody else in a more positive way. Just because you may love a movie doesn't mean it's not going to hit somebody else in a negative way. You know, we're going to get people, no matter what, that don't like the film for their own personal and legitimate reasons. So yeah, don't be too distracted by that. Now, if we start getting 50 of those, well, then we get a little bit more concerned. All right, Daniel Vasquez writes, "Hey, John, I'm seeing it tomorrow in 4DX 3D. Nice. 4DX. Now, I gotta admit, I don't think I'd want to see Superman for the first time in 4DX because it's going to be a lot of that. But I can imagine myself, if I like this movie, I can totally imagine myself, Daniel, wanting to go and see in 4DX at some point. I think that would be a blast. I hope you have a good time watching it, man. All right, next up. iHit writes, why is it bad if it's like a Saturday morning cartoon? It's not. I mean, look, feeling like a Saturday morning cartoon can be good or bad because there are good Saturday morning cartoons and there are bad Saturday morning cartoons. So if it feels like a great and wonderfully made Saturday morning cartoon, what's wrong with that? Nothing. But if it's like a poorly made Saturday morning cartoon, well, then that can absolutely be a problem, my friends. That could absolutely be a problem. But just in and of itself, it's not a bad thing. It's like this. It's like saying a hamburger. Well, why is having a hamburger a good or a bad thing? Well, having a hamburger is neither a good nor a bad thing. If it's a good hamburger, it's great. If it's a bad hamburger, it's not so great. But just being a hamburger doesn't make it good or bad in and of itself. I think it's a new approach. We haven't had something like this in a while. And I think it could lend itself very well to Superman if it's done right. And from what we're hearing from people, they're saying to think it's pretty good. All right. Let's see. Ablusid writes again, but John, is it better than Moonfall? Oh my God. You know, Moonfall did not make it onto my unholy trinity of the worst 3 films in the history of cinema. And the worst 3 films in the history of cinema being big studio, wide release movies in no particular order are Battlefield Earth, Highlander 2, and Catwoman. Those are the 3 worst films made by a major Hollywood studio and wide released, I think, ever made. Highlander 2, Battlefield Earth, Catwoman. Moonfall made a case to get on that list. Moonfall absolutely made a case to get on that list. It did not make it onto the list, but it made a case to get on that list. All right. Next up, VRock48 says, I can't see Nicholas Hoult as Superman. You know what? I can't either. But if he was Superman, suddenly we'd be going, I can't see anybody other than Nicholas Hoult playing it. Like, listen, before he got cast, everybody said, I can't see Ben Affleck as Batman. Everybody laughed when they announced him, except for me and John Schnepp. Remember that? The day they announced Ben Affleck was Superman, John Schnepp and I did a live stream just hours after they announced Ben Affleck as Superman. And John Schnepp and I said, this is going to be brilliant. He's going to be a great Batman. And he was a great Batman. Even people who didn't like Batman versus Superman were like, yeah, but you know what? Ben Affleck was actually a pretty good Batman. And he was. When they announced that Robert Pattinson, Twilight boy, when they announced that Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, nobody could see him as Batman. But he had become one of the most sought after and respected actors over the last 10 years. And Christopher Nolan was wanting to work with him. And then he ended up being Batman, and he's a great Batman. I agree. It's hard for me to picture Nicholas Hoult as Superman. It's difficult for me to picture it, but he's such a good actor that I'm sure he would have killed it. I'm sure he would have killed it. But again, it sounds like everybody's saying him being Lex Luthor was the right move. All right. Chino writes, mark my words, 78 to 81% Rotten Tomato score. I mean, that would be great if it did. I'm actually aiming a little bit higher. I'm going to say 82, but 78 to 81, that would be great if they could get the score that high. Bobby Jackson writes, all right. Given these early reactions, what's your updated guess for the Rotten Tomatoes score? Again, 82%. It's because, Like, we heard 2 or 3 negative ones out of the 50 or so that we read. At least that's what it feels like we read. And understanding that the full reviews don't tend to swing as positively as first reactions, I think 82% would be great. So that's going to be my prediction. My prediction is going to be 82% on Rotten Tomato. That would be fabulous. That would be absolutely fantastic if it can get that. All right. Bobby also writes, also, do these reviews change your estimate for opening weekend? No. It doesn't. I just think there's so much baggage that this Superman movie is carrying from the old DCU, or DCEU, I should say, that it's going to take a while to win a lot of people over. Maybe even longer than this movie has. But the important thing, and I've been saying this for well over a year now, the important thing about this Superman movie is not how much money it makes. The important thing for this Superman movie is that it starts the process of rehabilitating the image of DC to the movie audience, an audience that has completely abandoned DC. Completely abandoned DC. Superman needs to be the movie that starts the work of winning them back over. DC doesn't give a crap. Well, I mean, obviously they want the movie to make as much as possible, for sure. But Warner Brothers doesn't really care if they lose $100 million in this movie, because if this movie is great, and if it wins the audience back over the next 10 movies, they will more than make up for that $100 million they lose on this one. That's why the number one most important thing for this movie is to be good and to win the audience back over. And it's going to have a hard time being a true monumental blockbuster. It's going to have too hard of a time because of the baggage, but we'll see how it does. We'll see how maybe word of mouth can get out faster than we're anticipating. All right. Next up. By the way, one of our viewers, Jacob, saying, I disagree, John. You can disagree all you want, but I'm right. You can disagree all you want, but it's true. It's damn true. Name that reference. It's fair to disagree. I'm just saying, but I'm right. That's exactly how Warner Brothers is going to be looking at it, but we'll see. But listen, I would love, and yes, somebody got it. Kurt Angle. That's right. That was well done. You got the reference. Anyway, but I hope I'm wrong about how much it makes. I mean, I'm absolutely right about what their priorities are, but I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I hope this movie makes $1 billion. Of course I hope that. That would be, I want every movie to be $1 billion film. I obviously would love for Superman to be $1 billion film. I just don't think it's going to be, but I would love to be wrong about that part. About that part, I would absolutely love to be wrong. All right. Next up, we've also got Wayne, who writes, so excited. It seems like Mr. Terrific is the standout from the side characters. Can't wait to see it on Thursday. Mr. Terrific was the one, although it's James Gunn, the guy who gave us Polka Dot Man, so we shouldn't be surprised about anything. But Hawk Girl, yep, could see that. Guy Gardner Green Lantern, a little unexpected, but can totally see that. Mr. Terrific being included is the one that surprised me the most. And it's going to be, I mean, I really didn't like the Mr. Nothing against the actor. The actor did the absolute best that they possibly could with that character. I didn't really like the Mr. Terrific character in the Arrowverse, to be honest with you. So the fact that James Gunn's going to try to rehabilitate it, but yeah, it sounds like from the reactions that everybody really liked the Mr. Terrific thing, which I'm not surprised at. The actor's amazing. All right. My friend Kevin Rubio writes in, it seems like those who didn't like it did so because it was not the Superman they wanted to see. Maybe. I mean, we all have that problem, right? Like we all suffer from this problem that we go in with a predefined idea about what we want the movie to be. And if the movie isn't that predefined idea, even if it's good, we walk out not liking it. One of the negative reviews did sound a little like that, to be honest. One of them just sounded like it just didn't work. Like the CGI didn't work for them, the whatever. And that's fine, right? That's totally cool. But I think what will be true for this movie, and true for many movies, is that there are going to be people, and again, I don't think this is just true of Superman. I think this is true of just about every movie we go to see. There are going to be people who go in to see Superman with a predefined box of what they want the movie to be. And if it goes outside of that box, even if it's super high quality, they'll walk out not liking it, right? And again, I think everybody's susceptible to that, and I think it happens to a lot of movies, Kev. I think. I mean, I know you've experienced that too. So, yeah. All right. Next up, Quarsic just sends in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you, man. Dr. Chaput writes, just watched Schnepp's Superman doc for the first time. John Schnepp's great documentary, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. Made me miss the big man. Wish you could see this new Superman movie. Dude, I'll tell you what. It's not with every comic book movie. But once in a while, we see a movie that we go, man, I really wish Schnepp could have seen this. It's only really happened to me 2 times. Once was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, a movie I didn't even think I was going to like. But I remember coming out of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, man. Schnepp would have loved this. He would have loved that movie. And I was just hit with that feeling so overwhelmingly. The next one was Avengers Endgame. Especially coming out of that movie, I just knowingly Schnepp would have loved this. But Rob and I were talking about this the other day. That we haven't seen the movie itself yet. But as far as the trailers go, oh my God, it's like this movie was made. It's like James Gunn said, I want to make a movie that John Schnepp would love. And he made this Superman movie. At least that's what the trailers feel like. So I'm kind of feeling, it feels like this is going to be that third one. I mean, just from the trailers, because I know Schnepp would have loved the trailers. But yeah, the 2 other main times were with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The second time that it really hit me was Avengers Endgame. And this one feels like it's going to be one of those ones too. At least the trailers do. The trailers at least feel that way. All right. Just a couple more left. Ashton writes, Superman is my favorite fictional character of all time. I want 1978 Superman modernized, and it sounds like that's what we are going to get. That's what we are getting. I cannot wait. Yeah, again, all the reactions we're seeing from it just seem to be overwhelmingly positive. Like, it's not just good, it's overwhelmingly positive. And again, you can tell from the trailers, it's not going to be a movie that will work for everyone. Absolutely not. But it sounds like the overwhelming majority really, really love it. So fingers crossed. All right. Next up. And this is not our last. We still got just a couple more. Sam Fisher writes, I'm not going to lie. I'm now worried my hopes are too high because of these reactions and I'll leave the theater disappointed. Yeah, listen, man, I've been saying for weeks now that because to me the trailers have been so good, my hype level has been getting unhealthily high. Like the phrase I've been using a lot is I am so set up for disappointment. I am so set up for disappointment, man. My hype is so high that if I don't like this movie, I am going to be emotionally devastated. Emotionally devastated if I don't like this movie. I mean, that's the thing about hype, right? Like hype is a double-edged sword, right? Hype gets us excited. It gives us optimism. It gives us something to look forward to, a feeling of anticipation. Hype is great. Make no mistake, hype is great. But hype is also a demanding mistress. Hype can be a double-edged sword where that excitement, enthusiasm, anticipation can set you up for a big poke in the bum. Unpleasant, surprising, and not the sensation you were looking for. it can hit you in the wrong way, man. That's what hype can do. Hype is a double-edged sword. Now, again, I don't want movie fandom without hype. I love there being hype. I love getting hyped. But it can be a double-edged sword, and it can come back to bite us in the ass. All right. Last question of the night. As we've been going now for closing in on 2.5 hours. Ashton Lovell writes, over under 80% that the Rotten Tomato score is 90 plus tomorrow. I'm going to say under 80%. I'd say there's a 60% chance it'll be over 90%. But my guesstimate is that it's going to be 82. I'll see if I'm within 5% either way, up to 87, down to 77. I'm going to say 82 is going to be my rough number. That's where I'm guessing it's going to come in. Again, tomorrow on the John Campea Show, we are going to be talking about the actual Rotten Tomatoes score, the actual full reviews, because that embargo drops tomorrow, as we'll be doing the show live. So I'm very, very excited about that. Can't wait. And then, of course, tomorrow night, I'm seeing the movie, and I will be doing my own out of theater reaction. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait. It's, guys, here's the thing too. I just can't believe it's here. Rob and I said on the John Campea Show earlier today, we were saying basically, it feels like it was just last week that we were doing a show and talking about, they just announced that James Gunn is the new head of DC and Peter Safran as well. That James Gunn and Peter Safran are taking over, and there's going to be a brand new, for the first time ever, a DC studio, and James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to be running it. It feels like that happened just last week. And here we are. It comes out tomorrow. For a lot of people, it comes out tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow. It's insane. It's here. And hopefully it won't disappoint us. Listen, I've had a lot of movies disappoint me this year. I mean, just recently, I was disappointed with Jurassic World Rebirth. I was disappointed with Megan 2.0. 26 years later wasn't bad, but I was hoping for better. I was hoping for a better movie than what we got. It's still pretty good. Like 26 years later, still pretty good. But again, I've had a lot of movies this year disappoint me. And I've got a lot of my movie fan heart really invested in this Superman movie, man. I'm so stoked for it. I'm so excited for it. And tomorrow we find out. And all right, guys, that'll do it for tonight's almost 2.5 hour reaction watch for the Superman reactions that have been coming out tonight. Guys, amazing. Did I say 26 years later? Sorry, 28 years later. It's absolutely here. I'm overwhelmed by how great. I'm trying to not overreact, but it's pretty great hearing how great the reactions to it have been. So very excited for it. Tomorrow we'll talk about the full reviews. Please make sure to come back and join us for the full show tomorrow when we will go into the full reviews. Very stoked about that. And of course, mark it down tomorrow night, out of the theater reaction for Superman. So guys, that'll do it for me for tonight. Big thank you to all of you guys. I'm just looking at some of you, Baby Huey, TM, Trey J, Polar Burr, Darth Brooks, everybody. Like, we had over 7,000 people. We're 2.5 hours in. We're getting ready to the show. We still have 4,600 people in the live chat. Thank you to everybody for being here tonight. Hope to see you again tomorrow. That'll do it for me, guys. My name's John Campea. And until tomorrow, my friends, bye-bye.